Hey everybody, Jim from Jim's Holiest and Coleus. How are you? Hey, what a beautiful day it is here in New Jersey. I hope it stays like this. Spring. Next Sunday, actually this coming Sunday, we spring ahead. So remember this Sunday, if you're in the Eastern, if you're in the United States or what have you, and you do daylight savings time, it's this Sunday. What is that? March 12th. Spring ahead, 1 hour ahead, 2 a.m. Sunday morning. So anyway, it's beautiful out here. I'm on the Jersey Shore. It's beautiful here anyway. It's been very cold, but it's in the 60s, and here it feels like it's in the 70s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take advantage of this nice weather and get into my outdoor greenhouse. Today, I'm going to take advantage, like I said, get in my greenhouse, organize. I just moved the rack inside because I'm going to be potting my germination, so I need another additional rack to hold the trays. And hopefully by the end of April and May, we're going to move everything into the greenhouse. So let's go inside and take a look. It's just to give you an idea of what Jim's Holiest and Coleus is all about and what I do. And it's a small operation. I am not a big enterprise. It's just me and an understanding wife and a pretty helpful team. But just give you a basic rundown of what I do every year. And each year I learn from the year before. I make plenty of mistakes. Don't think I don't. And don't expect it of yourself. Don't expect not to make mistakes. Don't expect everything to go perfectly. You'll learn each year, and the more you listen and watch my many videos, the more you learn, because I repeat many important things. I like to repeat. I did get a comment from somebody that I talk too much, and I should just do. I ramble on, and I got a kick out of it. Because you know what? Yeah, I do, and I try to stop myself. I edit my own thing. I'm not a professional videographer, but I do purposely repeat over and over and over and over again very important things that I know you need to know, and you will learn them. If you follow along, you will hear them so many times that it'll be second nature, and that's going to make you better at growing any plant, but Coleus specifically. So anyway, to that person who left that comment, no hard feelings. I take it as constructive criticism. So without further ado, stop rambling on, Jim. Let's get in and just do a quick, just show you basically how I organize myself approaching spring. But anyway, this is my basic lean-to greenhouse. I did it myself. Again, if you, I'll try to post a link on how I actually built this, but me and my son did it about 6 years ago. Basic with lumber, 2x4s, pressure treated lumber. And again, I'm not a carpenter. So anyway, it's a nice day. Let's get inside and take a look what we need to do. Okay, so you see here I got the shade cloth. This usually lasts me a good 3 to 4 seasons. It really depends on the winters and so forth, but it's cheap and it's very important. Again, we'll get into that later on in the as a season, but it's a necessity with Coleus or any plants because it just gets too hot in here. But you can see here, have some open space. It's really dirty. I need to sweep this out, vacuum it. Again, it's an outdoor greenhouse, so it doesn't have to look like the Taj Mahal, but I do like to keep things tidy. Got my trays. This is just an indoor-outdoor plastic flooring. I had tried tile, stick-on tiles, everything. Doesn't work. The heat just beats it up. The water, it beats it up. So I buy this stuff. It's cheap. It lasts a couple of years, 3 years. Then I rip it out and I just put new stuff down. It's sort of like indoor-outdoor grass, but it serves a purpose. Gives me a little grip instead of looking at a plain plywood. But underneath is several layers of plywood, womanized, pressure treated so it doesn't rot. So anyway, here are the racks. Someone had asked about what type of racks I use. These are basic. They come in different heights. This is I guess a 6 foot 4 shelf, 5-shelf rack. I got it at Lowe's. Now the more shelves, obviously the more money. I think this was around $60, and they range from 40 to 60 in different lengths. They're all pretty standard, the widths and so forth, but this is like a 6-foot 5-shelf, and it's perfect for the greenhouse. It's coated, it gets pretty damp in here, and these are several years old. You can see I have a whole bunch of pots. And again, I'm just really serving. It's a nice day, so just organizing. I have a bunch of pots. I have a lot of soil left over from last year. A whole bunch of other soil in here. Later on, we're going to put that all into a wheelbarrow, separate it all, get rid of all the roots and so forth. You can see all the roots. That's still good stuff. I grind it all up and I repurpose it because it's just it's like compost. It's really, really good stuff. And I put it in my garden. So you can see those are the nursery pots I tell you about. So, and this is just later on. I'm just really just getting in here. I have a fan. I have my hanging baskets. These are from last year. I had extras, some I didn't sell. The hanging baskets didn't go as fast as I expect. There's some maintenance I need to do. You can see the top's kind of blowing away. Need to go up there and secure that just with staples. Had the door open for a few minutes. It was 80. It was about 92 in here. So, and of course it's a lean-to. I have the floor on an angle. So any water that gets in here rolls off and out, and it doesn't sit and rot the floor. So it's not level. It's not, sort of like a Alfred Hitchcock movie. So very important, not to get into it, but ventilation, very, very important once the season kicks in. Door, window, fan, and there is a drop down window. So once summer comes, if you haven't been following all this your first time here, ventilation very important for insects and just to maintain the heat in here, because it gets really, if everything was closed on a summer day, 90s outside, it would close to 200 degree, or not 200, but it would get stifling hot. It would kill all the plants. So cactus would have a hard time in here. So just gonna sweep this out, clean it up, just organize it. So this is really how I mentally prepare myself for the upcoming season. My main objective obviously are my Coleus inside, but I just moved the rack indoors, and then we're gonna pot the Coleus. Now, if you don't want to make your own greenhouse, or you don't have, if you're gonna grow a lot of plants and you don't want to make your own, there are plenty of websites out there that sell different size greenhouses, and they can get into the thousands of dollars, $2,000-$3,000, fairly decent. Another thing maybe you're wondering, during winter time, again, I'm in New Jersey, it gets cold here. I don't start anything out here. It gets warm in here, yes. If it's 25 degrees outside, it may get 45, 50 in here. I do not grow anything during the winter in here. I clean it up in the end of the fall, and I secure it for the winter, and I don't come in here till now to organize it. So I don't start vegetables early, but I can start everything in here, vegetables, because vegetables we don't really start until after the frost. So this is a good place to start vegetables, and we do that. Okay, so back inside, so we got the greenhouse organized. We're organized enough for me, cleaned up. So inside, we just put a second rack here. I have some of my trays. I put some of my rootings out, get them some sun. Got the grow lights on still. There was a few pods that were empty. I just reseeded those. That happens. But everything's doing fabulously. I know I just shot the video last week or a few days ago. Check out that video if you haven't. but things are really looking great, and I just have to keep up on them because it's really myself. So I got my racks all set, and now I'm going to go do a little bit of my rootings. Okay, so yeah, so it's pretty much maintenance day here, Jim's Holiest of Coleus. Here's the rootings. Look at these fabulous fish nets and Saturn, and there's a Defiance Coleus. These are all rootings from last year. And again, if you've been following along, Jim's Holiest of Coleus, check out my many videos. I have videos on how to take care of rootings. And let's go on to the overwintered Coleus. Okay, so here's a beautiful Empire Kong Coleus, and this is left over from last year. This is beautiful. We're going to keep this in this pot because it's doing pretty well. It's not screaming to be repotted yet, although this will be put into a pot outside later in May. Now, let's go out and repot the Lord Voldemort because it's so big, it's falling over from the base. The base is just too small for it and needs to be repotted. Right, Newton? I have my helpers here. Yeah, the heat's even got these guys. Bobo, it's a little warm out, huh? Daddy just finished the greenhouse. Now he's got to repot the plant. What do you think, Newton? You going to help Daddy repot the Coleus? Huh? Bobo's like, no, I'm going to stay in here where it's nice and comfortable. It was warm out. We were just playing in the backyard. That's enough for today. All right, let's go and pot that Lord Voldemort. Okay, so as you can see, this Lord Voldemort is huge, and this is overwintered. This is from last year, and this is actually cuttings, rootings from the mother plant, which I've had for the past 3 or 4 years. I've just never been able to get seeds from this, but we're going to try this year by fooling around with some fertilizer, and we'll get into that later on. But anyway, let's repot this into a bigger pot. Okay, so I use Miracle Grow potting mixture. Try to use a name brand if you can. Jonathan Green, Miracle Grow. The blue bag is the moisture retention soil. That's the best, really. The yellow and green is fine. It's Miracle Grow, but make sure it's potting mixture. Don't use topsoil if you can't, and certainly don't use soil from your yard. There's a difference between planting your Coleus outdoors in your garden in the ground and potting Coleus. You want to use potting mixture. So we're going to pot this Lord Voldemort. As you can see, it is well overgrown. You can see the inner pot. I chose this plastic pot. It's about a 10. Nothing crazy. I'm going to be keeping this indoors for at least another month and a half. So I don't want to put it into a crazy big pot, but it certainly needs a bigger pot because it's just such a big, wide, full plant. And I'm going to take some rootings once we pot it in another couple of weeks. I want to make sure after I pot it that it settles in, because when you repot plants, they may get into some shock. You know, you're sort of disrupting them, but as I'll show you how to actually repot this, I'll try to, a minimum disturbance to the roots. Okay, again, the 10-inch, this is just a plastic nursery pot. It's got the Jim's Holiest of Coleus seal of approval. Very important whenever you're potting Coleus, make sure you have drain holes. Number one reason why people's plants die is because they put them in those ceramic pots, those nice ceramic pots, and they have no holes. And then they keep water in their plants. The water goes nowhere, it sits there, and it rots all the soil, and your plant dies. So always remember, lots of holes. And also, it's handy because it gives the roots, gives you a chance for the roots to develop, and you can water from the bottom, which really helps grow a healthy potted plant, because your roots naturally seek water. So if you water from the bottom, your roots are going to look for that water, and they're going to get really thick and full and fill up all the soil. You're going to have a nice healthy plant. Healthy roots equals a healthy plant. All right, first order of business, what you want to do is you want to fill about a quarter of the way on the bottom of your pot that you're transplanting your plant in, about a quarter, and take your pot, just to estimate, and put it in there. And I'm going to give it a little bit of an impression, and you want to make sure that it's not well above, it's not too far down, that it's just about where you think you want to keep your soil level. And you're going to pack that down a little bit, but this gives me a good idea where I want to start before I pop the plant from the original pot. Don't be afraid. There's not much you could do with Coleus. If something breaks, you can root it. Mistakes happen. Next, where we're going to release the soil from the pot. And because it's been in this pot so long, I'm going to show you, but this Coleus, all this soil is going to be all root and soil. It's going to be very compact, and it's going to pop out as one big square unit. Now, you don't want to do this if you just watered your plant, because then the soil is going to be very mushy and it's going to be a mess. I haven't watered this plant in a day and a half. So it's moist, but it's not dry. You don't want to do it when it's bone dry either, because then your soil is going to fall apart on you, just as messy. So you want to make sure the soil is moist, damp, and it's sort of like almost like a clay, so you can almost mold it, but it'll pop out easy. Okay, so we have our soil imprint in there. Now, if this pot was a soft pot, it would be even easier. But basically, I'm just going to kind of like press it and play. Now, this is a little brittle, so I might crack something, which, look. Now, am I worried? I'm not worried, because this is going to be a rooting, and I actually want rooting, so this happens. So I'm going to put this to the side. And what I'm going to do now is just gently go around the sides here. And this will help loosen it a little bit. Okay, so we're basically banging it, gentle, and it should come out as a whole unit. There you go. Now just take your potting soil and gently put it around. It's centered. There's an impression in the pot, remember. Okay, so you have to do this outdoors, obviously. So so you see it's fairly centered. I had the imprint in the soil below. It pretty much seeded. Put your soil around here. Now I'm packing it down gently, not really tight. I don't know if any of you ever watched Bob Ross. I did some paintings, and I used to love Bob Ross because he always said there's no mistakes in nature, and there isn't. So no one ever said that this plant has to be perfectly upright. Trees grow differently. They grow a little to the right, they grow to the left, they're a little crooked. Nothing is perfect in nature, but nature is perfect. You understand that? And try to make like a little moat. If you understand this, make a little moat here. And when you water, it'll kind of settle around here evenly. That way the whole plant gets watered. You don't want to put the soil way to the top. And then water immediately. I'm going to put a little bit of fertilizer. Okay, little general, that's all. General purpose, Miracle-Gro, general purpose, shake and feed. And some water. And as you can see, I'm giving it a good shot of water. We want to make sure that the whole root ball gets filled, gets a nice drink, and get some of that fertilizer in there. Okay, so you can see she's in nice shape. She may wilt a little bit. It's stressful when you repot a plant like this. It is stressful, so they may decline a little bit. It's rare that your plant will die from that kind of shock unless you really mess with the roots. Even with me breaking one of the stems, it won't harm the plant. I'm very confident that this beautiful Lord Voldemort is going to do well. We're going to give it a little Miracle-Gro food, give her some water, and she's going to look great. So you could apply this to any Coleus that you have and you want to repot. If it's in a smaller container and you want to put it into a larger container, you can apply this. So if it's a soft container you're going from into another container, the soft ones are even easier. You just gently bang around, the outside of the pot, and your root ball should release pop and should pop out as one big unit. Again, and I'm repeating it again, make sure you don't water your Coleus before you repot it. Make sure it's been watered a day before or 2 days before, where it's damp, compacted, but not dry and not soaking wet. So when you do pop it out of the pot, it's not a mess for you. It'll come out nice and even like this, and you should do fine. So any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Again, Instagram, Jim's Holiest of Coleus on Instagram. If you want to buy some seeds, it's not too late. I get a lot of questions. I'm going to be reposting some more seeds. I did really good. Fabulous Jim's Coleus. That's Jim's Coleus on eBay. If you want to buy some seeds from me, I don't have seeds for this Lord Voldemort. I'm hoping this season I can get some. But I have Kongs, Wizard Kongs, Rose Kongs. I might have some Defiance left. I have to take a look. Some reds, red cherry type Coleus, I have those listed. Some jitters, I believe. So check Jim's Coleus on eBay. It's not too late to plant your Coleus seeds indoors. You can plant them because you remember, Coleus will last right through to the fall. So you have plenty of time, so you can plant your Coleus seeds now. So head over to Jim's Coleus on eBay, buy some seeds, and you'll be helping the Wounded Warriors and the USO and the Adelaide Koala Rescue of Australia. I donate a portion of my sales to each of those organizations on a rotational basis. So thanks a lot for following on Jim's Coleus. Stay tuned,